How is everybody? Good? Awesome. So again, my name is Andrea Barrica. I'm a venture partner at 500 Startups. 5 years ago, I started a company called In Dinero. If you want to learn more about that startup journey, I'll be giving a talk at the conference on Monday. But today, it's all about pitching. So I'm an international pitch coach. I've traveled all over the world, and I help companies from all over the world, especially in our accelerator in San Francisco, tell their stories. And let me tell you the problem with the most pitches that I see. I'm going to just take a couple minutes, and then we're going to hear some pitches, and I'm going to mentor people in front of the group. But the top things that I see, and I've seen because I kind of lurked a little bit when you guys were pitching yesterday, and the mentors were so kind and like so positive, but let me tell you a couple things that I saw as I'm going to be judging as well. And definitely the first thing I want you to know about demo day pitches is that no one is as interested in you as you think they are. That's just definitely the number one thing we all need to understand here. We're going to see 50 pitches, 100 pitches, something like that. And the cost of being boring is quite high for you all. But a lot of the slides and a lot of the presentations I still find they're not lacking any interesting content or any interesting businesses, but there's something lacking there. So I want to pull up a couple people and work through that. The second thing, I don't think people, honestly, the people I've coached don't really understand what's most compelling about your business. I've worked with a couple companies and they tell me it's one thing and I'm like, actually, and I'll have a bunch of investors with me and we'll agree, it's this, right? So it's really important for you to know that. Who's pitching? Can you raise your hand if you're pitching? You, sir. What's most interesting about your business? Tell who you are, who are you, and tell me, Mohammed. Uh-huh. So that's your elevator pitch. Everybody always starts with, oh, well, my business is interesting because of elevator pitch. But that's probably not what's interesting to the judges or investors, right? This pitch is, from what I understand, supposed to be for investors, right? Not customers, not other founders, but to investors. So what do you think is most interesting about your business to an investor? So you're pre-launch? You're pre-launch? Okay, cool. What's the single most interesting thing about your team then? If you haven't launched yet, the most interesting thing about your company is probably going to be something about your team or something about your market, right? Because I can't be excited about anything else. There's nothing else to be. Now, it's not your fault. It's just you haven't launched yet, right? So thank you. Thank you. Let's give it a hand for Mohammed for getting kicked on. Yay. So any pre-launch companies here, you're going to be building a big vision and telling a story about your market, and you probably should talk about your team, because anybody who's interested or bets on a pre-launch company, from what I've seen, it's mostly because of the team. What do I mean by team, by the way? I think people don't really realize. What do I mean when an investor says, oh, that team is killer? What does that mean? They won't, yeah. They have executed. What are actual proof points? What are the traction of a team look like? Previous founder who exited a company. Always care about that. And what else? Domain experience. So deep domain experience, right? So if you're in a deep fintech kind of company, we want to see that someone on the team has deep network experience. Definitely. There's probably one other thing, and everything else is not as important. So the other thing is, some ex-Google, ex-YouTube. If you're in the food space, you worked at all the big ex-food companies. So any big brands that everybody knows. That's what we mean. The fourth thing for team, people always want to bring up like, oh, we worked together for 5 years. And that's really great. That's really important. But for a 2-minute pitch, these kind of things they don't bring anything new. No one has ever heard a pitch and then someone's like, oh, and we've worked together for 5 years and said, I want to invest in this team, right? It's not something that would make you, that if you didn't feel like you would invest, that you would suddenly put in, right? And that's what I mean by team. Another thing is interesting stories. So right now at 500 Startups, we have a company called MapJam, And they're a mapping company. Basically, you can create custom maps. And one thing they tell on their team story is that the founders, who are like 50-year-old Australian men, met in their 8th grade geography class. That's like super memorable and like funny, right? So these kind of very interesting, very like specific stories can also be used for a team, for a pre-launch company, for elsewhere, okay? Did I give you a good sense? And that's what we care about. Pretty much everything else is not as important in terms of team. And I know Dave, who will be the final judge, and I know Steve, and like I've judged with them both, and that's also what they believe. Who else? Who else? Can you raise your hand if you're pitching tomorrow? You, sir. What's most interesting about your business? Can you tell me, yeah, your name and what your, yeah. Cool. That's interesting. What's most interesting about your business? No. So this, thank you, Ken. Have a seat. So when I say what's interesting about your business, I keep hearing this. You're just telling me what you do. What's interesting about a business can be really only 4 things. And in order of importance, they are. Guess number 1. Traction, revenue. You know why? Entrepreneurs are the most delusional people on the planet. Can we please all agree that that is true? So traction is really, 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 really the most interesting thing about a company, because you don't have to believe the delusional entrepreneur. It's all validated in the numbers, right? Obviously, there's something there. Even if it's a fool on stage pitching this ridiculous thing, if they said we got $40,000 of monthly recurring revenue, you'd listen, right? You'd be like, obviously, this person's figured something out. So if you have the traction, if you have revenue, if you have a key KPI, maybe it's not revenue, maybe your company, your customers pay with their attention. Maybe it's a crazy engagement metric. One of those things, if it is most interesting thing about your business, I want to hear it right away, okay? Because this means that people are forced to listen to you. Got that? So number 1 on the level of importance is traction revenue. Any question about that? There's a hand. Nothing? No question? For pre-launch, so I'm gonna go in order. I'm gonna go in order, okay? Because you go in order. If you don't have number 1, you go to number 2. And number 2 in level of importance is team. So we just talked about what a good team is, right? Previous exit. If you have been a serial entrepreneur, be careful, because Dave sometimes will yell at you, how did your companies do? And if they all were like acqui-hired or like kind of had to close down quietly, you don't really want to create those brands. So team is definitely number 2 on that list. If you don't have that and your team is not that way, and many companies aren't, number 3. Probably deep tech. So here is like, I have not heard like an actual, I've heard only 1 or 2 of all of the pitches, like a deep technical pitch, right? Like something where there is actually a technology at play here that is its own defensibility, its own moat, right? There's not like, if you have the 12th best data scientist in the world on your team building like some cutting edge tech, that's probably gonna be like the most memorable or most interesting thing about your business to an investor is the tech, okay? And it's rare. I've seen maybe 1 in this conference, because if you're building a marketplace or you're building e-commerce, the technology is not that interesting, right? It's just the website, or it's just it's something that anyone could do. So if I ask you what's most interesting thing about you, and you're like, our technology, I'm gonna say, all right, what are you building? And if it's not like jaw-dropping, like deep AI, something crazy, then you're probably not a tech pitch, okay? Something like that. Like, if you're going to say it's tech, be able to defend it like that. And honestly, the tech has to match the team. So if you tell me you're building a tech product and your team is not that experienced, it's not a very good story. So the one tech pitch I heard, where's the guy in hotels who has like a PhD? Where are you? I met this guy. So he's got like this PhD in like machine learning, and he's building a product for hotels. And like that's a story and a tech. There's something there that's a play technology-wise that's really interesting, okay? And the degree, the story of the team, everything kind of wraps together. So if you don't have okay, what's amazing traction, by the way? Let's just agree on that, because a lot of people think that they say they're traction. Does anyone have like an idea of benchmarks for like what? It's not an absolute number. If you're looking at me like, how is that's going to be dependent on each company, you're right. What week growth? What month-over-month growth is good? Like, what is good enough to actually bring up? 25% month-over-month for how many months? At least 3 to 4. If you're gonna tell me you have month-over-month growth at a certain percentage, you better have at least, like, always say how many months, because I'll call bullshit, especially for the 250% how many months, right? Because startups, it's kind of like all over the place. So if you've got that like month-over-month growth rate, that's what I mean by good traction, right? Or it's engagement, right? Maybe your GMV is growing. Something is growing significantly month-over-month, okay? And I seriously can't stress enough, please don't tell us traction like the slide before the last one. I've seen that in so many pitches. If you have it, bring it up, and then if you want, bring it up again at the end. Okay, you can talk about, that's the thing, if you have something that's really exciting about you, keep bringing it up, or bring up certain parts of it as a proof point, right? Okay, what's number 4? That's your vision. And this is not a bad thing. If you're not at the point where you have number 1, number 2, number 3, there are plenty of amazing vision pitches. And but when you do pitch vision as the most interesting thing about you, we kind of know you don't have traction. Your team is not one of these teams that we talked about, and the technology is not that interesting, right? That's okay. There's got to be a market story here. So many of you, who here is coming from an emerging market? I know we've got someone from Nairobi, right? We've got a company from Lagos. We've got some emerging markets here. Tell the emerging market story, right? The vision of, half the kids in the world will be on the African continent by the year 2100. That's crazy, right? That's something I can get behind. I was just in West Africa. I flew to Istanbul from Accra, Ghana. And so many of the companies there are still in early stages, but there's lots of companies worth investing in just by the merits of the vision and the market. But you have to be able to tell it. If you have a vision pitch, you better be delivering this pitch a lot. Because if I'm not inspired, educated, surprised, something by your pitch, it's probably not going to be interesting. And you will see that in the judging, I think. Okay? All right. So that's really the 4 ways that I think about what's interesting about companies. Does everyone think they know what theirs is? Do people know what the most interesting thing about their business is of those 4 kind of now? Awesome. Let's hear some pitches then. Who wants to go? Great. So I don't want to hear the whole pitch today. We don't have time to hear like the whole 2.5 pitch. I want to hear like 60-second bites, and I want it to be, it'll probably be just like the first minute of your pitch. I want to hear the first minute of your pitch, and I'm going to give some feedback on not just, is it clear, is it boring, okay, and is it delivered well? Those are the things I'm kind of looking for, and I'll give feedback. Would you like to go? Great. Give them a hand, guys. Give them, come on, support.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to talk about a vision.
Is this how you're going to start your pitch?
Pardon?
Is this how you're going to start your pitch?
No.
Okay.
I'm just okay, let me start. My name is Sam. I'm an expert in 3D stereoscopy and printing of virtual reality. And I think we can change the world in how we shop today. And we have a solution to make it 30 times faster to shop in e-commerce or versus offline. And hundreds of hours instead of being spent, people can do something else. So we come up with a solution which is related to T-commerce on television that allows us to use our vision, which is the fastest way to shop, to actually conduct the shopping. Yeah.
Good lesson, and it doesn't have to be a full minute. That was about 30 seconds. Thank you. Okay, what does he do? Can anyone here tell me what he does? Do you know what they do? 3D shopping thing? What else was memorable? Like, what did you remember about that? Excuse me? Something about eyes. Something about eyes. All right, we got something about eyes. What else? Kind of weird though, right? It's kind of like people don't know what to grab onto. One thing is you really sped through that. Like the first sentence is like, we want to make shopping 30 times faster, you said? You need to stop after you say that. If you say something kind of big, like a big deal, stop, right? You just kept going and going and going, but like you're like, hey, my name is, what's your My name is Sam. I'm the CEO co-founder of Hotel Laboratories, and I want to make online e-commerce shopping 30 times faster. Let that like sink in. So that's a delivery tip, right? If you, any of you have something that's really special about your pitch, don't deliver it too fast because we're still catching up with you. Okay? Now, right away, do you have any, so that seemed like you're trying to sell me a technology pitch. Do you have any traction? Are you launched? So the answer is no, you haven't launched. Okay. So that would make sense then with this pitch. You're selling us the vision, and I get that you're trying to build credibility by telling us about yourself and your background. So in that sense, I thought the choice of content was pretty good. Okay, but you need to slow it down and you need to like deliver it. Okay, does that make sense? But if you're not, see, if you said, oh, well, we actually have launched and we have some revenue, I'd probably yell at you because it'd be like, okay, no, we need to know that so that we know. But if that's not the case, then I would say the choice of talking about yourself and then making the claim about the technology that you want to build is good. Thank you. I saw a hand in the back. Come on up. If you want to pitch, why don't you sit in these chairs in the front, line up a little bit, and yeah. Can we get a woman pitch, please? Is there any women pitching? Raise your hand. We have no women pitching? Borak, where is it? It's amazing. You're not pitching? Yeah. Maybe later. But I'm just hoping, we don't have any women on the demo stage? That's interesting. Okay. There is. They're just quiet. I'm going to find you. I'm going to find the women pitching. Cool.
One minute, yeah?
Yeah, you get a minute.
Hello, I'm Dr. Akhtar and I'm a security expert. I have done my PhD in security. I have previous experiences in business as well. Over 1.5 million cars are stolen every year in Europe. And the only reason is because existing vehicle security solutions are outdated. They are over 30 years old and thieves have learned to bypass them. We are providing a solution that is not subjected to the techniques used by thieves today, and it has received some innovation award as well. And plus, the market size is over 100 billion, and we have received excellent feedback from manufacturers and some other car businesses. Plus, it is a mobile app-based solution that is not subjected to hacking. I mean, hacking doesn't compromise the security. Yes.
You, sir, what do you remember about that pitch? Is that true?
It's about car security.
Car security.
Vehicle, yeah.
Okay, so it was a lot that clear. Who here thought that, feel like they really understand this guy's business? Very few. You've probably heard this before. You're cheating, right? I've never heard this. It's not easy to understand. It's not clear, right? Can we agree that we help him? It's not clear. Very fast. First of all, just slowing down, more hands would go up for the understanding. And that's tip number one. If an investor can't understand what you do, they're probably not going to invest in you. So the first rule of any pitch is it clear after 30 seconds? It wasn't very clear. You don't have to start with your team, by the way. You don't have to start with I'm a PhD. That can come later. For you, it might just be better to come out and just say, what is your one line, this is what we do?
Okay, it's a vehicle security system that provides a solution to modern-day thieves bypassing existing systems.
Wait, it's a solution for thieves?
It's a solution for
against thieves? Okay, I'm just making sure. This is that's some sorry.
It's a solution for auto
Your
theft.
technology prevents cars from getting stolen.
Yes, in today's world, cars can be stolen in less than 20 seconds.
We help you. We help prevent that.
Yeah.
Boom. That's it. So this is another thing. Get out the marketing speak. I don't want to hear that you've got this content platform. And none of the judges, Steve hates this, Dave hates this, I hate this. Like, take out the big words. Everyone wants to have like a 4 big word tagline. It's like, you help cars from getting stolen. Like what you said.
Over 1.5 million cars stolen in Europe every year.
1.5 million cars get stolen from Europe every year.
And last year, the increase was 8%.
Too much. What? No, just say, what's your company? What's your company?
My Smart Remote.
My Smart Remote solves that. That's what you do. You know, that's what you do. We build technology that we don't even need to know too much about what it does, but we want to know what is the problem, what is the opportunity, and like, who are your customers? Who are your customers?
Car insurance companies and any motorist.
Great. Our customers are, we service car insurance companies, and it's working. Do you have any revenue or traction yet?
Yes. So far, we have sold 30 units. It's 30 plus, actually.
Oh, so there's a hardware component to it.
Yeah, hardware. Although we have received a response of over 20,000 units from businesses, and plus
Is there a SaaS component, or is it just hardware?
It's a mobile app and a hardware. The hardware is installed inside the car.
That's very important. That needs to be clear. Like, hi, I'm the CEO and co-founder of My Smart Remote, a hardware solution that pairs with a mobile app. Just clear, all right? That helps cars from getting stolen.
Yes.
Just say it slowly and clearly, and people will get it. And everything else, if they understand clearly what you do, will be better. Agreed? Anyone disagree? Clear, okay? Just make it clear. Thank you. Awesome.
Now I would be much better.
Yes. Also, if you are not delivering this out loud to each other, you are going to have a hard time. The only way to get better at pitching is to do it out loud. Do not write it down. Do not rewrite your pitch on paper. Take a group of you, go to the hotel, and do it live, and improv it, right? Cool. Who's next?
Hi. Wow, 60 seconds is hard.
Excuse me? I don't know. We have to pick our favorites. Who here has, I'm just kidding. Who here, we have 10 minutes? Okay. Can fight against yourselves and just figure out who will be the one. All right, let's go. Just kidding. Whenever you're ready, sweetheart.
Hi, my name is Kareem from Expensia. There is this one most boring task SMEs have to go through too early in the growth process. It is accounting, and most precisely, expense reporting. Expensia is a mobile and cloud app that is streamlining that expense reporting and management. We shipped 4 months ago. We have hundreds of subscribers. And the most exciting fact we have is that we have an ex-Apple director who is using our service and managed to add hundreds of bills in just a couple of weeks. So we know we are nailing the user experience.
Cool. Oh.
Yes. Yeah, 60 seconds is very hard.
Okay, that's good to know. So someone thought they understood what he was doing, and now they don't. I thought that was pretty clear, though. So your pitch must be changing quite a bit. I thought that was pretty clear. It's a solution for expense reports, right? So it's pretty clear to understand. This is my thing. If you are in a crowded space, differentiation is the most important part of your pitch. What do I mean by that? If you are in content, if you are in food delivery, if you are in anything where there are clear competitors coming to mind, what differentiates you? So you're in trouble. I built accounting software and I used a lot of like expense reporting stuff. It's like instantly I'm just like, how is this better? And like the traction helps. So I thought that bringing that up, hundreds of subscribers. What is that like? Do you have revenue from them yet?
Yes, yes. Not all of them are paying customers, but yes, we have paying customers, including this.
Make that clear.
fact.
If you just say we have subscribers, I assume they're not paying. So if they are, like say that, we have some paying subscribers or some percentage of them, like what percentage of them are subscribing?
10, 15%.
Okay, just bring up that like, okay, we've got a portion of our subscribers that are already paying us. We're solving a need. Is it like a niche play? Is there a location?
That again?
Like, are you going after a specific target market?
Yes, European markets, and we are very close to the regulation. And the accountant is our friend.
So
We
that's our
massage the data
that's
for
your
him.
differentiation,
Yes,
really.
we massage the data for the accountant,
Cool.
and we go with the gray label business.
I'd make that clearer, and then I would talk to her afterward and figure out what is not clear from if you saw a big difference. Today, I thought that was pretty clear. I would say that was fairly clear. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the feedback.
Hi, everybody.
Go on, whenever you're ready.
I'm Batu Shat, and we're Mall IQ. We provide actionable insights to shopping mall managers to optimize their marketing to increase foot traffic and revenue. We're ex-Google, ex-Cisco, ex-Microsoft, and ex-Qualcomm. We have PhDs in electrical engineering, both of us, and 15 years of Silicon Valley experience. We have 20 malls enabled in Turkey and 2 in Silicon Valley. We have 3 non-paying pilots, 2 of which are with a global mall management firm that manages 200 malls. We have a mobile app that has 10% week-over-week growth over 6 weeks. And we do not require any installation within the mall to provide navigation to shoppers and provide analytics to the mall managers. Thanks.
Thank you. So I actually thought the way you chose your content was interesting. How many people thought they understand what they do? Cool. It's like you make something for mall managers. I just know the customer, right? This is the thing. This is the main way I want to help you with your pitch. You have all the right ingredients, but it's not a story. You just listed off like 12 facts in a row, and the best pitches are integrated in a story. It's like, hi, like we're these technical people, we saw this problem, we're selling for this group, and it's working, right? We're growing 10% week over week for the last 6 weeks because we're going after like this, it has to feel like a story. There's good stuff there. I thought the metrics were pretty good, but you can't just list them out. It feels like you're pitching me a slide deck, like our problem is this, our solution is this, our traction is this. That's not what you want in a pitch though. I need to know who you are. I need to see it kind of mesh together in like a story, and transitions are the key there. Thank you. I don't think we have any more time. They're cutting us off. Blame him. Okay, perfect. Thanks, guys. Have a seat. Thanks. I wish all of you luck when you pitch together. I guess the last pieces of advice: pitch out loud, slow down, and figure out, ask each other, like, what is most compelling about your business really, and help each other figure out what that is. Because I bet that you might be surprised what other people would say is interesting about your company. Okay? This was fun. Hope it was helpful, and have a good rest of your day. See you later on for the mentorship. Bye.